what?
You're there, Peter. I hear you.
Yeah, I think she's trying to get back in.
My computer restarted.
Oh, there we go.
There
Hey,
she
she's back.
is.
It just shut down.
Missy, we waited for you.
I'm so happy because I was freaking out. I literally was freaking
Told
out.
him to stop talking about you, Missy.
I'm glad you did.
On the good stuff.
You started it,
There
didn't
we
you?
go.
Too funny.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get back. So Peter, I'm sorry. You had just said, let me ask you a question, and then all of a sudden everything went blank.
Yeah, we're discussing it just because you got disconnected it, but we're just saying, what do I do with my existing listings?
All right.
We're on the market, but we're not getting any calls on them or anything. Time always works against us in a situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It really is. If they're willing to show it, they're either vacant or willing to show it.
No, I don't even want them to show. I won't even put them in that situation. I mean,
Okay.
they don't want to show it either, which is understandable.
Do you have a virtual tour on each one on the MLS?
Yes, we do.
Okay, because you need to have that. That's to be
Yeah,
compliant now.
absolutely.
I mean, listen, they could withdraw it, or at least temporarily withdraw it, because what GSMLS did was they used to, if you temporarily withdrew a house, you know how you have 2 days on market, you have DOM and you have ADOM for administrative days on market. The days would still count as an ADOM, okay, for temporary withdrawals, but now they're suspending that because of the environment. And so if you do a temporary withdrawal,
Does that affect Zillow's number count?
do what?
Like Zillow, does that just keep going if you do
No,
that?
because you're off the market. So as soon as it comes off GSMLS, then it comes off Weichert, and Weichert's the one who populates those. So that's how it, that's how the whole thing goes. So if you take it off GSMLS,
But don't,
unless you took it off GSMLS or temporarily withdrew it from there and then kept it on Weichert.com, which then populated to other ones, then GSMLS days on market wouldn't count, right? They'd be halted, but Zillow's would not be halted. It would still be on Zillow.
but don't you think we'll be telling the buyers at some point that listen, it's been on the market for 90 days, but 30 of it we were quarantined for.
Yeah, I mean, I
so,
think in
you know,
this
technically
environment,
it's only been-
yes. Yeah, I think in this environment,
Yeah,
If-
so I
if it-
wouldn't
if-
worry too much about the days on market as opposed to.
Exposed.
I did allow one showing yesterday to one of my listings because I knew the agent and I trusted her. I did a deal with her before. I felt like she would be responsible. Problem is, 3 of my listings they've already bought, so I felt like I needed to allow it. But then I got a second person calling, and we won't say where he was from, just the team in Jefferson. And I said, I don't really know him, you know, it's up to you. And she said no. So she only allowed the one showing. And I don't even know if that's really allowed. But the second showing freaked her out.
right, right.
She's an elderly woman with 2 children, but she bought. She's closing at the end of April.
Right, and yeah, so if people have
So it's like, how do you do
specific
it, you
motivation.
know?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a there is no right or wrong. We're all navigating these uncharted waters together every single day, because it's literally a preference. It's personal. You know, some people are more sensitive than other people are about it. So it's really just about dealing with each situation separately, like as an individual transaction or individual deal, because
I
everybody's
did
so different.
ask, the one thing I did, right, the one thing I was asking was how motivated are these buyers? How long have they been looking? Where are they coming from?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know we can't discriminate, but I'm sorry, if you're from Bergen County right now, I don't want you in my listings.
Right,
I
right,
don't,
right, right.
unless it's vacant.
Right.
But I wanted to see their motivation. Have they been, like this second buyer who wanted to come look at it, that was their first time out. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, so
Because the likelihood that you're going to buy right now is slim.
you have a fiduciary responsibility to seller, so you can ask all those questions, and none of those questions you ask are protected classes, so you don't have to worry about discriminating
Okay.
against anybody. It's not a discrimination to ask how long someone's been
Okay.
looking, or, well, have they been pre-approved and all that stuff. That's just due diligence that you should be asking
Mhm.
because for your seller anyway, right? Maybe these questions we should always be asking so we're not inconveniencing our sellers. A lot of these things that we're doing now, the extra steps we're taking,
Right.
probably should be stuff that we put in our practice as well. Just because, especially like, an elderly person or someone with kids or, but I like more of this open dialogue. So please feel free during, the training to please, like, if you have stuff that you're doing on a regular basis, or you have a situation that you just dealt with that you can help other people with, I'd love for you guys to chime in. I think it's so much more, it helps everybody when they hear from, from all of you. So Joe said he would list above my home above market value. Of course he did. How did Joe justify his price? Did he share his numbers with you? Do you have a copy? Do you think what buyers have done in past situations is important? Do you think Joe was only telling you what he thought you wanted to hear? That's probably the best question to ask them all. How did Joe justify his price? Did he share his numbers with you? Do you have a copy? And do you think Joe was only telling you what he thought you wanted to hear? Please understand I'm okay with listing the home at 275 if we can justify 275. Otherwise, I would consider that a win-lose relationship, and with me, it's win-win or no deal. And when I say it's win-lose relationship, I mean it would be a win for either Joe or me and a lose for you. It's my opinion that Joe has agreed to take your listing at such a high price because he wants to use your home as leverage. What does that mean? Joe will advertise your home, which will generate buyer leads. However, when potential buyers discover your home is overpriced, they would look to Joe to sell them another home. Win for Joe because he has made money. Lose for you because none of your needs are being satisfied. Anyone who tells you they can get you $25,000 above for your home is using your home as leverage to attract buyers. Both Joe and I know what's going on. I'm just the only one being honest about it. Does that make sense? How important are these needs to you? Very important. Then shouldn't we ensure a win-win relationship from the start by pricing your home appropriately? Again, good dialogue. So you must know your walkout price. And again, that's going to be different for each agent, depending on where they are in their business, depending on how much listing inventory they have. So are you saying that you would not list your home with me unless I list it in the realm of ridiculous? Yes, great. Here's my suggestion. I want you to sign a 3-month listing agreement with Joe and hold him accountable to his price. When the home doesn't sell, give me a call and I would be glad to come back out. Would that be fair? I mean, I would love to take the listing. However, I refuse to do it at the expense of your wins. Before I leave, let me ask you one more question. Do you really have 3 months to wait? What's your plan B? So I don't know that I would ever say realm of ridiculous, and probably a lot of you would agree, because then I feel like I am getting combative with the client at that point, right? But I do think that he does bring a good point saying, here's my suggestion, sign a 3-month listing agreement and hold him accountable to his price. When it doesn't sell, give me a call, start packing your stuff, right? Like I said earlier, a nice way to say it is, I work as a team with my clients. And so I don't feel that this is, we're working as a team right now. So I wish you the best of luck. I thank you for the opportunity. And let me know if you need anything, and then get up and walk away. If you're one of those agents who have a listing inventory that you are willing to walk away from other listings. So other pricing challenges, what puts in motion stays in motion. Shouldn't we leave room for negotiation? Oh my God, that's going to be one that you hear all the time. That's a great question. What's important to you about leaving room for negotiation? Most of the time they're going to say, well, buyers are not going to come in at price. They're always going to come in lower. So your justification for pricing your home high is just to leave room for buyers wanting to negotiate. If we leave room for negotiating, what do you think we'll get? Negotiation. Are you willing? Oh, right. And are you willing to negotiate down to market price? Typically they say yes. Are you willing to negotiate to below market price? Typically they'll say no. Do you think it would be better to position you in a way to generate one offer or multiple offers? Most people would want multiple offers, I would think. May I share with you my philosophy on negotiation? If we price a home like most agents and leave room for negotiation, then negotiation is what we'll get. Because we are priced like everyone else in the marketplace, high, we may generate one offer, which really weakens our negotiation position. And because of our weakened position, the price typically gets negotiated down to at or below market value. And I always say that to sellers. I say, do you want to be in the driver's seat or do you want to put the buyers in the driver's seat? Because when you have one buyer, then they're in the driver's seat. When you have multiple buyers, then you're in the driver's seat. So it's been my experience, if we price the home directly on the market, we can create an illusion in the market. Because so many agents overprice their listings, a home priced directly on the market appears to be a deal, giving us a better chance to generate multiple offers that could drive the final agreed upon price above the list price. Now understand, the home will only appear as a deal. We know it's not underpriced because we have used a 7-step pricing strategy to arrive at the proper price entry point. Does this make sense? So which pricing strategy has a better chance of satisfying your specific needs? So where do you feel we should price the home? You must eliminate any potential seller remorse. How would you feel if your home sells tomorrow? So this is something we spoke about last week in listing conversion. I would feel like I priced it too low, and that's the truth, because that's exactly how they feel. You think you did a great thing, and then they feel they could have gotten more. So ask 4 more questions. May I ask why you would feel that way? Is your goal to meet your needs with your designated time frame? Would you agree that pricing your home at the appropriate price entry point increases the odds of getting 1 or more offers within your designated time frame? Would you feel your needs were any less satisfied if the offer came in on the first day as opposed to the 60th day? So again, we brought up earlier when we first started about setting expectations up ahead of time. And this is a great expectation to set up prior to listing their home, especially if they're pricing it appropriately. I guess the point is that all the research we just analyzed ensures us of the most appropriate price entry point. Now, we really shouldn't care when the right person sees it, as long as they see it within your designated time frame, correct? Therefore, someone who is ready, willing, able to pay for your home sees it the first day it's on the market, we should expect an offer. Wouldn't you agree? You see, we really can't control when the right person sees it. We can only control if they see it. So if the right person sees it on the first day, that this in no way means we priced the home too low. It simply validates the fact that we priced it just right. Doesn't that make sense? Again, great dialogue that everybody should bookmark this page, highlight this page so that you have, you can study it and master it. So commission question. Cost is only an issue in the absence of value. Will you work for less? Why? Do you think I'm worth what I'm asking? I really can't, because I would consider that a win-lose relationship. And remember with me, it's win-win or no deal. You see, Mr. Seller, I firmly believe one party should not have to lose for the other party to win. If I take the listing, I'm going to provide you with exceptional quality, consultative type service, which will be definite win for you, right? Accepting a lower fee for a service you've already deemed more valuable would be a definite loss for me, because I can't operate a successful business on less than what I'm asking. Plus, it just wouldn't be fair if I charged you one amount and all of my other clients another. That wouldn't feel good to me. Does that make sense? It's all also great dialogue. And one of the best ways, obviously, to overcome this is by doing your listing consultation with them and going through how you're going to represent them, how, you know, why you aligned yourself with Weichert, and how that's going to help them get their home sold for the most money. So by going through that, when you skip that and you don't go through a listing presentation with them, you really have no way to then fight for your value, because they don't know what they're getting versus from you, from someone else. The other thing is, when you're going through your commission, do not say 6, do not say 5. It should always be the buyer. Let me explain how the commission works in New Jersey. The buyer's broker gets 2.5%. The buyer's broker splits that with the buyer's agent. You can give 3% if you're very motivated, And you can also do 2%, but with 2%, you will not get the activity because buyers, agents work very hard and they will try to eliminate any homes that are under 2.5%, because 2.5% is standard. As far as the listing broker goes, we get 3.5%, 2.5% plus 1% for marketing. Again, that fee is broken up between myself and Weicker. You have to let them know where that fee is, because when you tell someone you're getting 5% or you're getting 6%, their perception is that you're walking away with that you are getting that in your pocket. They don't know there's too many gray areas. So I feel it's so important to split it up when you're explaining it to them. They can add it up in their head. And then you can always negotiate. If they say, well, that's 6% and so-and-so is going to do 5%. Well, is the service that they're providing you apples to what I've gone through with you? And that's, again, you're asking them a question. Okay? So don't try to say, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Go through all the stuff you're doing again. You don't need to do that. Is the service that they're going to be providing apples to apples from what I'm doing to you? Let's talk about that. And then you can always negotiate it down if it's going to become a problem. So I would love to take the listing. However, I refuse to do it at the expense of a win-win relationship. Therefore, at this point, I must gracefully bow out. I hope you understand. Remember, the best thing about your business is it is your business. And I have to tell you, I own an agent who, because of, let's say, their nationality, gets a lot of sellers who approach them, and they know that they always want a much lower rate. And I will tell you, they have refused many listings based on that. Many listings, because they don't want to work for nothing. And they know once they do that word's going to get out, and then they're going to continue to work for that. And, we work too hard to give away our business. If you don't have your own plan, you'll always be part of someone else's. So will you work for less? I guess I could, but if I gave up my money that easily, you wouldn't respect me as a businessman or a businesswoman. And if you don't respect me as a businesswoman, you darn sure won't want me handling a large financial transaction like this for you. After our conversation tonight, do you feel I have the knowledge, skills, and competency to sell your home? Do you see a difference in my approach? Do you see more value in my approach? Great, then shouldn't we move ahead with this? Again, great dialogue. And it's the honest truth. There are definite differences between agents and consultants. So Joe said he would list my home for less. That's great. You see how easily Joe sacrificed his money. Just think how frugal he's going to be with yours. Is Joe a consultant? I don't know. Did Joe ask you what you needed in the transaction, or did he make some basic assumptions? He didn't ask. Did Joe help you put together the specific plans and strategies that, if implemented and held accountable, will result in getting the home sold? No. Did Joe thoroughly discuss each person's role and expectations in the relationship? Do you see value in these things? Do you see a difference in Joe's approach and mine? Then why should I charge the same fee as Joe? My fee is this. Is this going to be an issue? You will always charge what you believe you are worth. So it's so funny. I always say this about agents. New agents, because we train them to get 6%, get 6%. Okay? And then somewhere down the line, the experienced agents, the ones that do the most business, go in just at 5% and never ever negotiate. The ones that should be getting 6%, 7%, because of their expertise, because of their knowledge, because of their professionalism, because of everything that they have, that they can bring so much more than a new agent to the table, but yet they just automatically discount their commission. Is it because they've been asked so many times? I don't know. I don't know if they're afraid. I don't know what it is, but they give away their commission more than a new agent will always go out and get 6% and get it.
They made so much money by then that they don't
Is that what it is, Thomas? I wish that was the
No,
reason.
it's
They
not.
always
They-
want more money. That's the problem. They always want more money. They're never
They already-
satisfied. They're never satisfied. And they want to get that more money other ways. And that's when I say to them, well, how come you can't just do this? And they're like, I don't know. I got to take that off. They don't think about it after a while. It's really crazy. So,
I throw your thoughts three. Go ahead.
no, you go. I want to hear what you have to say.
No, I have no sales, so I don't really can
Oh.
say much about this. But it's. I'm hearing it, even talking to friends. Oh, somebody else offered this and this. I'm like, good for them, good for you, but I won't. Even yesterday, I had the lead network call. It's a rental, and so obviously the person checked the numbers and information pretty well. It's Angie's Virostech listing.
Mm-hmm.
So they can offer, there's 3 of them, they can offer only 900 each, 27 total. And the next question is, are you willing to work only for half of a month?
Right.
That was the second question. He did not ask if I asked what was the most important thing that he has to have in the rental, and actually the answer was washing and a laundry machine, washing and a dryer, and actually that one doesn't have it connected. It's just probably the tenant has to think its own. But the second question from the tenant was, are you willing to work for half month commission?
So I would respond back there saying, I'm
No,
already
did
working for a half a month commission. I can see if the landlord would be willing to split that with you. That's how I would.
I checked before I got back to him with all those information.
But see, again, they think you're getting the whole commission. They don't even realize you're only getting half a commission. That's what I talk about when I talk about how many gray areas there are. They don't know. So I would say I'm only working for half the commission. I only get a half of it. As the listing agent gets the other half. Mm-hmm. So maybe I can approach. Let's see if we can work something out with the landlord. I'd be willing to ask on your behalf, and that's the way I would handle that. Because again, they don't know. Yep, they don't know. So it's after 2. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but the rest of this is all about the commission concern. And then it goes into the terms of the listing. Now, we always get a 6-month listing. Once in a while, you will get a seller requesting for less. And it's very far and few between that I think people ask for less than 6 months. But again, that's up to you because you're putting out the marketing money in regards to you're getting a photographer. You're any marketing materials you do, all of that is going out on your expense. So you want to make a decision if it's worth it for you to do it for less than 6 months. Okay. And again, you always want to ask that question. Why is it important to you that I only do it for 3 months versus the 6 months that's standard? Don't try to say, well, this is why we do it. And this is the reason why, and everybody gets this. Don't get into that. Say, why is it important for you to do it for 3 months versus 6 months? Let them explain to you, have a conversation about it versus you just, trying to combat with them about why that isn't a good thing or why you don't want to do that. Where's your office located? So I think for us, this is an easy one, especially because we have corporate headquarters behind us. So I don't think this is ever going to be an issue for us in the state of New Jersey. I always say this to new agents when I'm talking to them about coming in, and it's the truth. It's, we cover 6 counties of agents in our office alone. So we're like a hub being in that office. So that's an easy objection handler, having corporate headquarters behind you. So you really don't need more than that. I have a friend in the business. So how many people have ever gotten that? That's interesting, isn't it? So I had my nephew's girlfriend, my nephew's wife reach out to me the other day and say, we're thinking about selling in the near future. we just wanted to get a few things under wraps. Do you work with family or do you not work with family? So that's what people think, right? We just assume we're going to be the first ones they come to. But in their mind, they're thinking, well, I don't know if they even want to work with family. I don't know if they want to mix business with pleasure, you know? And they just don't think about us, or they're not in an area. The second question was because they're not in this area. Again, so it would be, you know, would you work in this area? So those are the questions. So I was fortunate that she asked me that, but most of the time we don't find out until they've already listed with somebody else. So now this obviously is how we want, as an agent trying to get their business, we want to combat that in a different way, okay? So I have a friend in the business, that's great. Since this is such a large financial transaction, how about I come in and give you a second opinion? Worst case scenario, you will have another set of eyes and ears to help you devise an appropriate plan of action. If objection during the conversation, why exactly am I here tonight, right? So if you're sitting there, you've already had the listing consultation, and now they're bringing up that they're a friend in the business. Why exactly am I here tonight? Great question. Is your friend a full-time realtor? Another great question. How good are you at separating business and friendship? How good is your friend at separating business and friendship? Did your friend sit down with you and uncover your needs? Did your friend show you the plans and strategies needed to sell your home? Did your friend thoroughly discuss the expectations for each of your roles in a business relationship? Do you see value in these things? In the event your friend doesn't meet your expectations, will you be able or willing to fire him or her? Great, great questions. How can you hold him or her accountable? So again, why exactly am I here tonight is a great way to start. And then, are they a full-time realtor is another great question. How many homes have you sold? Now, this is one, right, for agents that are new in the business. Well, I would say I would have that information ahead of time. I would say we have sold, meaning my brokerage or my company or my office, this many homes, right? Because you have the backing of a big office behind you. So that would be the way that you can overcome that objection. You don't want to say, well, I've sold no homes, completely honest. Does that concern you? I think that would concern someone, yes. So you'd say, well, we have sold this year alone or this month alone 60 homes or 40 homes or 30 homes, right? So this way you have that backing behind you. The bottom line is you need someone who possesses the knowledge, skills, and competencies to sell your home. Wouldn't you agree? Well, after our conversation tonight, do you think I'm capable of getting your home sold? If objection comes during solicitation, I see, well, I have sold many homes. Now, again, you're going to use your office, and you should already have that information ahead of time of how many homes were sold, maybe in the
Where do
last
we get
month.
that information,
So
Missy?
you probably have to come to me to get that information. I don't know if there's
Okay.
any way for you to get that on your own. So for you, Cheryl, you would be asking for yourself. So I don't know if it was last week or the week before in our momentum, we spoke about agents knowing what their list price to sale price percentage is, right? So what your homes list for, the homes you list as a listing agent list for versus what they sell for. And then we can see what the average is in the area, because if you're above that, right, you would want to, that would be a way for you to market yourself, right? Saying I sell homes at 3% higher than the average agent does, right? Or my homes sell for 3% more than the average agent, or whatever the information is. But you'd have to come to me for that information. And the same thing on office level. So let me see if I can put something together, at least on the office level, to provide the agents of stats. And this way they have that. Because again, if someone asks you that and you have that information, you're going to feel very comfortable in presenting that. If you're a new agent and you don't have that information, you're going to get very nervous, and that's going to break your confidence right there, right? You're going to have that fear once someone asks you that. So the more information like this that you have, it's great. It's great to know. So if at the end of your conversation, they say they feel it's not a good time to sell, They feel like it's not worth what you charge. They feel like your office is too far away. They want to listen with their friend. They feel all realtors are crooks. They feel they want to go FSBO. They see no difference between you and another agent, feel like you're too experienced, or feel like you can't handle the job. You want to know that while you're sitting in front of them. You don't want them to have that and you leave. So the best way to overcome all that is by asking them at the end of the conversation, is there anything that we've gone over today that would prevent you from listing with me today? Okay. You want to ask that while you're there, because if you don't ask that and they have an objection that you very easily handled, you may never get that opportunity. Okay. So based on the information I provided, is there any reason you wouldn't list with me today? Maybe they might say, well, we have 2 other people coming, or maybe they might say, we just want to talk about it overnight. There may be some type of objection there that you can overcome. Say, would you mind? I can leave the listing paperwork with you. Here's the seller's disclosure. It's your homework. It's going to take you a little while to fill out. Can I touch base with you in the morning and see, what you guys have decided? You want to be able to stay in touch. Always stay in touch and find out what's going on. But you want to know then, if they say, well, you mentioned you were going to get 6, you wanted 6%, and I know that the going rate is 5. Say, listen, I'll be happy to work with you on that. Is that the only, before we go any further, is that the only thing right now that's stopping you from signing with me? Because if there's other things, you don't want to start negotiating your commission, and then they say, and this, and that, and this. So, okay, I'd be happy to work with you on the commission. Is there anything else that we need to discuss right now? Is there any other reason why you wouldn't move forward with me? No, that's really it. It was just, we were hoping you were going to say 5%, and okay, great. So then let's talk about that. And then you have a conversation with them about that you're willing to do it, whatever you're willing to do. I'm willing to come at 5.5%. And if I bring the buyer, I will do it for 5%, whatever it is that you are comfortable with. But all these, the real reason for this whole training today is to know the objections that come up ahead of time. And these are the standard objections that come up. So if you could just go through each one and come up with a dialogue to say for each one, you'll be very comfortable on your next presentation. These are the things that come up all the time. So does anybody want to add anything to this today? No? All right. Tomorrow is Mastermind at 11 a.m. And then Wednesday is our office meeting. And I'm hopefully going to have a lot of answers to the affidavit question and the stimulus package question. So like I said, if anybody has any questions in regards to either of those 2 things, let me know, text me, email me, call me, and this way I can get specific answers to them for you. Okay?
Missy, can you email this today? What you sent this today?
The actual materials?
Yeah. Can you email it?
Yeah, I can. Let me see who's on. Okay.
Probably had it before, but it's good.
Yeah, no, it's actually in the chat box, but I don't know how easy it is to get in the chat box and get it. I upload in the chat box so that people can download it. Oh, look, it came up as I said. So here's the chat box.
It's the very first thing at the top of the chat box. The very first chat, if you will.
Okay, let me get it back on. But I could do that. I can send it out as well. That's not a problem.
Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to see who was on. Okay, so I can make sure I get it to everybody. All right, no problem. I will send it out right now so that you guys will have the materials to go through. Have a great rest of your day.
Safe, everybody. Thank you.
Yep,
Thanks.
thanks.
Good luck, everybody. Stay well.
Bye.
Yeah, stay well and stay safe.
Bye.
Just so fresh. You were so fresh.
Have a good one, Missy.
Yes, I'm going to wax right now.
You what?
I have an in-home kit. Don't worry, I'm good.
All right, cool. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.